producer, and then we'll get going.
You got it. All right, so bring it on.
You ready? All right, good. All right, so here on the Dr. Hockey Podcast, we are bringing on Adam Gold from North Carolina to talk a lot about the Carolina Hurricanes. I've got Dr. Berkeley with me, and I've got Adam Gold on the line. Adam, are you there?
I am here.
Excellent. We're glad to have
Welcome.
you on the podcast. Welcome.
Thank you very much. I have two doctors. If anything happens, I know where to call.
well, we just talked to Jib Street and Dr. Craig Bryant about their hockey cardiac saving maneuvers, and I'll tell you, what a story.
This has been a fun run so far. So I assume you're still talking about the Hurricanes, but it has been a blast.
Yeah, no, it's amazing what's going on. I mean, we have some questions obviously about what you're seeing is going on with the team, and then also we want to know about their post win parties that we love, but Don Cherry has taken exception to.
Oh man, I love Don Cherry. You have no idea how much we thank Don Cherry for taking the celebrations to a new level.
Totally.
Literally within like 12 hours of Don Cherry saying, which was a Saturday night about a week ago or so, maybe 2 weeks ago on a Saturday night, was 2 weeks ago, when he called him a bunch of jerks. Within 12 hours, there were t-shirts made and sold. It was phenomenal how quickly that happened. And to the point where I actually thought that Don Cherry was in on the joke. Because there's no way that you could, I mean, everything happened so fast based on what Don Cherry said. And I love Don Cherry. I have nothing against Don Cherry at all.
Nope.
I'm not surprised that he was anti-Storm Surge. But man, I just assumed he's in on the joke because everything happened so fast.
I'm so looking forward to the celebration where you all wear Don Cherry-esque jackets.
Yeah, totally. I thought that was happening.
I have suggested, and I would tell you I'm kidding, but I'm not. And I do my own podcast here, Canes Centric. It's called
Oh, I love it.
Canes Quarter Podcast, whatever.
Got it.
And I actually just talked to the marketing guy, and I said on the podcast today that I'm actually surprised that it's just T-shirts, because at this point, a bunch of jerks is a rallying cry. So I would put it on car flags, I would put it on mouse pads, I would put it on coffee mugs, koozies, everything.
I've already trademarked it, so you're too late.
It's not too late. So the Hurricanes are apparently going to put it on a bunch of things. They have hoodies. I mean, put bunch of jerks on everything. That should be a thing, man.
And you can't beat it. I mean, what a great battle cry, and you know the team's playing so well. It's really fun watching the. I mean, they've come a long way since last year, and I think Rod Brindamore is just like he's just doing such a great job.
Even 6 months ago, the team wasn't really that good per se, and they've exploded in the last 2 months.
Well, their record before they played the Flyers in Philadelphia at home on New Year's Eve, their record was 15, 17, and 5.
Right.
So that's 2 games under NHL 500.
Right.
They are now 12 games over NHL 500, or 13 games, I think, over NHL 500, and they have 79 points in 66 games. So yes, 15 games over 500 since New Year's Eve, the best record in the sport. They've scored, I believe, more goals than anybody in the sport. And I have said this, I've known Rod Brindamore a long time. And I was one of the first people when they they didn't fire Bill Peters. They allowed him to walk to another job, even though he had a new 1 more year left on his contract. And I wrote, and I actually just went back and read it today. I wrote back in April that this should be an easy search. The right guy is right here. Because, I mean, it's funny, Rod, I don't think there's any question, he's the lowest paid head coach in the league. And he might be the lowest paid head coach in organized sports. This is not a head coaching job to Rod Brindamore. This is a personal mission to restore the franchise that, even though he was a star in Philadelphia greatest Hurricane that ever played, and he's not the most. He doesn't have the most goals. That's Eric Stahl. But Brindamore's the best player this franchise, this iteration of the franchise has ever had, and he wants it to work here, and he wants to restore this team to being a year-in, year-out playoff team. So this is a personal thing for Rod. And when you get somebody who's invested in it personally, like he is, it's going to work. On top of that, the players respected what he did as a player and how he did it, and how he prepared, and how he kept himself in incredible shape. And there was nobody showing up to training camp in poor shape. 0 people did that. This team has played like it's a well-conditioned team, and the stability that he has brought them, the consistency, no way you could have ever imagined that they would be essentially go about their business the same way today as they did in December, as they did in November, as they did in October, as they did in September. That is the most incredible thing I've ever seen in sports, is how consistent they've been even through hard times.
Well, Rod is an amazing guy, and what he's done as a coach is incredible. But the truth is, not to take anything away from what he's done, the players that have been amassed on this Hurricanes team this year are just a really perfect stew of talent. And I say that because they've drawn from so many different places, from Justin Williams, who won the Cup of the Kings and is he was one of my favorite players on the Kings, and he's just a great guy to have in Carolina, to Teuvo Teravainen, to Sebastian Aho. This team has so much going for it in the talent pool.
It's interesting you say that. First of all, I agree. It is. I think the way you said it was even was perfect when you call it a perfect stew. It really is. It's not the most talented team in the world. They essentially roll out 2 fourth lines. The third line and fourth line is not expected to contribute on the score sheet. They do, but that's not by design. But when you stack them up against, and I don't want to stack them up against Tampa or Toronto or Boston, because those are the best teams. But when you stack them up against the Islanders, or heck, the Penguins, who are not as deep as people might think, or most of the teams in the West, the Hurricanes don't have the same level of talent that those other teams do. And it's essentially, remember, they gave away Jeff Skinner. And you see what Jeff Skinner, he got nothing for Jeff. Got a 2nd round pick.
Nothing.
A guy that they've already moved on from in the minor leagues. So they really got nothing for Jeff Skinner. He was just essentially jettisoned for the locker room, and that's not to speak ill of Jeff Skinner. It was a move they made that they felt like they needed to everybody needed to move on. But it's not an incredibly gifted group in terms of skill. But what they are is a very nice blend. And even the skill guys play a certain way that this team needs to play. They have an outstanding forecheck. They're tremendous there, and their blue line is it's finally coming around. In the first 2.5 months of the season, the defensive core was okay, but not great. It's been great since New Year's Eve. Dougie Hamilton's a new player. Dustin Fox having his best year in the NHL, even though his scoring is down some from past years. Defensively, he is a complete player. Jacob Slavin is an elite talent. Brett Pesce, there's a reason why Toronto wants Brett Pesce badly. And a lot of teams around the league want Brett Pesce badly.
As opposed to Joe Pesci, I would assume.
I would take Joe Pesci on the same line as Brett Pesce. They'd be amazing.
They wouldn't be very funny, but they'd be amazing, right?
Yeah, no, Brett.
Actually, Brett Pesce is sneaky fun.
Let me ask you a question. So, looking at this team, and, it's nice to see when a team goes beyond the expectations of a season. Because I don't think anybody thought they'd be in 3rd place in the Metro Division, in the middle of March right now. But I think one of the biggest question marks that I had about this team wasn't their offensive power. We obviously already know about their top two lines. It was more the goaltending. You know, when you go from a player like you had with Cam that, you know, really kind of was like a stalwart in Carolina, and you have a goalie come in, Peter Mrazek, who, you know, my team's the Red Wings, and, you know, he had a good 6 months, got a tremendous contract for 6 months of play, was mediocre the rest of the time, got traded to Philly, was less than mediocre there, found a home there in Carolina, has played well in Carolina.
Yep.
And you almost have a kind of a, with McElhinney and Mrazek, now you have kind of a goalie by proxy almost.
You know, the goaltending here, first of all, it isn't even about last year, and you are never going to find a bigger Cam Ward fan than I, except maybe the voice of the Hurricanes, John Porter. Cam was a wonderful human being, a great goaltender, but unfortunately for Cam, injuries, time, took its toll, and he was no longer the player. He could not be a 50-game-a-year guy. Cam needed to be a 25 to 30-year backup, for 30-game-a-year backup, but everybody they brought in to be the number one failed miserably. Whether it was
Totally.
Eddie Lack or Scott Darling, and Darling is having issues again in the minor leagues with the leave of absence. At the beginning of the season, and Darling had a really good preseason, and there were people very optimistic that Darling would be able to rebound after last year. And then he hurt his hamstring the final preseason game, and the Hurricanes needed a goalie, and they didn't want to bring up a young guy. So they plucked Curtis McElhinney off waivers on October 6th. I mean, literally 2 days before the start of the regular season.
Unbelievable.
And he still had all of his stuff, all of his equipment from the Maple Leafs, so it was all blue. His shorts were blue. His pads were blue and white. I mean, the mask was blue. He comes to Carolina, and he's wearing his old stuff. And he played the second game of the year in Columbus and was spectacular. And the team, the intent with Curtis McElhinney was for him to play a couple of weeks until Scott Darling got healthy, and then they would put McElhinney back on waivers. Toronto would reclaim him, send him to the minor leagues, and Scott Darling would assume the role of either number one or 1A or 1B, whatever. It's never materialized that way. McElhinney is statistically, if you look at it, a top 5 goalie in the NHL, and Mrazek has been, after he had some of his own injury issues at times, but Mrazek has been better than the numbers indicate, and the numbers aren't bad. It is an incredible mix. Goaltending is not even a discussion here anymore, and it's probably the first time in 5 years that's been the case.
Well, and that's what you're going to need in the playoffs. I mean, having a tandem is going to be key. Do you believe that? And I probably am, you know, asking a rhetorical question here, but do you believe that this team has a shot at the cup?
At what? At winning the Stanley Cup?
Yes.
I mean, everybody that gets in has a shot at winning the Stanley Cup. I mean, that's part of the whole thing about the NHL is that you ride a hot goaltender. The team is 21-6-2 since New Year's Eve. So if you're in, you've got a shot. Is it a really long shot? Hell yeah. Does it help if you get on the Metro Division side of the playoffs? Absolutely. Look, I think the Hurricanes have a chance to finish second in the Metro. Ultimately, the Washington Capitals are going to win. So
Right.
I
Yeah.
think the Hurricanes have a chance to finish second in the Metro. But even as long as they don't finish below the first wild card and they play on the Metro side, I give them a chance to get to the conference finals. I do think the 3 best teams in the East all play in the Atlantic, whether it's Tampa, Toronto, or Boston. So it would help to not have to play 2 of those teams to get to the Stanley Cup. But it would be far-fetched. But again, it's hockey. I would never count anything out when the playoffs start because it's just a strange beast.
Right, and we've seen it. I mean, look at, you know, the LA Kings started as a wild card 8th place and won the cup. So, and they started off losing the first 3 games.
I believe 2 years ago, was it Nashville the 8th seed?
Yeah, They were.
They were. So,
Yep, they were, and they spanked Chicago out of the first round.
Right.
That's right, and they swept them.
Yeah, look, so is it possible? Yes. This team still, however, as I try to tell people, I host a radio show in Raleigh. I try to tell people who care that this team has not made the playoffs yet. They have not made the playoffs since 2009.
Whoa.
I heard a host that does a show before me talk about the Hurricanes being in great playoff position, and it just turned my stomach because wait a second, we're smarter than that. There are 16 games or 17 games left. No, 16 games left in their season. They still have to figure out a way to win maybe 10 of them. So that ain't good. they're in better position than they were, and they're in the same position as Pittsburgh. Montreal, maybe they're better, I guess, than Columbus because they're 2 points ahead of Columbus, and they'll play Columbus next week. But they're by no means in great position because they're still fighting for their life. Every game they play is essentially a playoff game.
So Adam, let me ask you a question. So let's say hypothetically, which I don't think it's too hypothetical, that this team makes the playoffs. And I'm not trying to jinx you. I'm just saying I think they're making the playoffs.
I don't believe in jinxing, so I'm just trying to be practical.
Good.
Right.
So when they make the playoffs, let's say they have either a first or second round exit, just hypothetically at that point. What changes do you see them potentially making in the off season, or what would you change about them now if you had the opportunity, if you're running this team, that you say, you know what, really lacking in A, or we have too much of B, that we can counterbalance that with something else? What do you think that you would say that this team would need to do to become a cup contender?
I think those two things are very, very different animals, and I'll answer the second one first. I wouldn't change anything about this team, not a single thing. Now, for next year, I would change plenty, but we'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
I am a firm believer in chemistry, and I think it's the intangible in all of sports. Chemistry leads to confidence. Confidence leads to better play. And this team, the chemistry, I wouldn't mess with it at all. I was
No.
proud of them, and I wrote before the trade deadline for our website that this is a team that deserved to give it a shot on their own. They could have traded Michael Furlan and gotten a second-round pick and maybe a prospect. They could have traded a defenseman and gotten a top-6 scorer, but it didn't make sense to me to not give this group the chance to take this across the finish line. So with that said, I wouldn't change a thing about this particular group.
The chemistry almost reminds me a little bit of Vegas from last year in a sense.
Yeah.
That same feel of like that they're in this together and
Right.
they don't want anybody else messing with this.
I don't think there's any question, just from those of us who have experienced 2002 and 2006 and 2009. It has a lot of the traits of the kind of the surprising run in 2002.
Which of course they did not win to, which team was it, Jay?
But
I don't know, Jason. Who they lose to?
I have a I'm sorry, I have a 4x7, a huge picture, big rectangular frame picture of that Red Wings win on the ice. I have to just throw that out there.
But you weren't too nervous, were you, in game 3 in Raleigh when Carolina had I think it was a 2-1 lead late in the third period. You weren't too nervous.
Oh, I'm listen.
2 games to 1, right?
When the Wings were always contending, I don't care what the score was, I was always nervous. I think I shaved about 10 years off my life between 90 to 2008 or 2009, I should say, when they were in playoffs. But listen, that was a great run by Carolina. There was no question. I mean, it was.
This team reminds me a little of that.
Yeah.
A number of reasons. That team wasn't incredibly gifted offensively and played the right way, had great chemistry. It also had a goaltending tandem of Artur Irbe and Kevin Weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Irbe.
Irbe was great, and Weeks was sneaky great. They're both in the playoffs that year. They each had a goals against average of under 1.5. 6-ish forward. Whether it's a center or not, I don't know. I think they will move out a right shot defenseman to bring in another forward goal scoring acumen. And what the Carolina Hurricanes have a lot of, and maybe too much of, are depth really forward line guys.
Yes.
And if you have 4 or 5 of those players, that's probably 2 or 3 too many. So
Yep.
I think you'll see them exchange some of those guys, and I believe that next year you'll have 3 scoring lines. Andrei Svechnikov, the rookie this year, the 18-year-old kid from Russia, is a dynamite player. He's going to be so much better next year.
I wanted him in the draft so bad.
Oh my gosh, he'll probably play off. I know his brother
Yeah.
is in the Red Wings system, and I think he's hurt this year.
He hurt his knee, had a knee surgery earlier, but when Andre was in the draft, I was just like, please pick him. I wanted him. So we got Zadina, obviously, but and then we got Veleno, but boy, he's been playing really, really well for you guys, and I've always been impressed watching him play.
Yeah, and I think the way he plays is also indicative of why everybody likes him so much. He is very much a north-south player.
Yeah.
He is a power forward. He mixes it up. He's going to get in a fight this year. I'm positive of it. He almost got in a fight against St. Louis the other night. Jordan Martindale kind of go to bat for him. Although Svechnikov was ready to drop the gloves if he had to. He is that kind of player. He loves to get under your skin. And I absolutely am in love with the way he plays. The skill, he's got tons of skill. The game will slow down a little bit more for him next year. He's going to be a 25 to 30 goal scorer for the rest of his life.
Well, those are the kind of things that the Canes need to add it all up and make it happen. I mean, they clearly have the spirit. They've got the experience working together now, and like you said, since New Year's Day, they're one of the top teams in the NHL.
Yeah.
Depending on how you want to look at it, I think it's really fun. I love watching the team play. I think Sebastian Aho is just he's just exciting, and it's fun to watch him play. He's got speed. He's got a wicked shot, and those kind of players are rare. And when you get one on your team, obviously you can build a lot around him. But I gotta say, I think Teuvo Teravainen is kind of right there with him. He's got the juice to do the same thing, and I'm pretty sure that his best years are ahead of him.
Teravainen is an old man. He's already 24. I was 21, but Teravainen just signed a 5-year contract extension that right now looks like the greatest bargain in hockey history because he's been better than a point a game since signing the extension, and it's only a $5.4 million a year average annual value. So he's been very good. He's a very good defensive player. Both Aho and Teravainen are used to kill penalties now.
Yep.
And when your best players can be used in that situation, obviously it says a lot about him. Real quick on Aho, you talk about he's got tons of skill. He's fast. Again, defensively smart. He'll get better in the face-off circle. This is the first year he's played center in the NHL. The 2 things about it that people, when you look at it, you wouldn't know. One, he is as competitive as anybody I've ever met. He hates to lose more than he likes to win, and that drives him. And the other thing is, if you watch the goal that he scored last night in Boston, the first goal, it didn't even hit his stick, it hit his skate. Zdeno Chara could not win the physical battle in front of the net with Sebastian Aho. They essentially neutralized it. And if Chara couldn't move Aho out, it tells you what kind of sneaky lower body strength he has. And Aho fought for position, got it, and the puck went off his skate. It hit Chara on the way through, but Aho got into prime position because he is relentless and he is really strong for a little guy.
Well, you got another. Those things are all very important, especially in a guy that's going to be bumping around in front of the net like Aho is. But you've got Justin Falk in the back there too. That's not a giant person, but definitely a giant presence on the ice.
Justin has had a rough couple of years here. Scored a bunch of goals. He was averaging 16 goals a year for a 3-year period a few years ago. Last year was a terrible year on both ends of the ice. This year, Falk came back in better shape. He came back a little bit leaner. He's a little quicker. And the offense wasn't there at first, but defensively, he was so good that they could not take him off the ice. The offense is starting to come down. The defense remains there, although last night was a rough night for a lot of players, including Justin Falk, who made 2 mistakes that led to Boston goals and ultimately an overtime loss. But you're going to have that no matter who you are. Falk's had a great year. If I had to guess, though, I'd say there's a fair chance that he's probably the guy moved out in the offseason.
Yes.
But either way, Falk has been a really good player for this team this year, and you could look at it ice time almost every night. He's either first in ice time or second, and that's with Jacob Slavin being the best player on their blue line. But Falk gets the first power play time. He's also used to kill penalties. He's used in every situation. He's really had a spectacular year. Real quick, you mentioned him earlier, but I don't want to not end this conversation without saying that I think one of the sneaky biggest differences between this year's team and last year's team is the captain. Justin Williams was brought here a year ago kind of to be the captain.
Yep.
And through a power play, pardon the hockey term, he was not given a letter at all last year by the head coach, Bill Peters. Rod Brindamore wasted no time. They opened training camp. They sent out an email to everybody. By the way, Justin Williams is the captain. And everybody went, it's about time.
Yep.
I've known Justin since he came to Carolina in a trade with the Philadelphia Flyers in 2004, just before the lockout. He went, I think it was for Danny Markov, who was a defenseman who never really gelled in Carolina. Justin's been in the league since he's 18. He's 37 years old. He is better now than he was, I'd say, 4 years ago. He's quicker. He's in incredible shape. He is the perfect leader for a team of really young players who have never been through this. I can't even express how much fun it is to watch Justin go through this year with this team because he's wearing a C for the first time in his career.
And well deserved. I mean, just an amazing player. He is so tough and an incredible competitor, and having him as the leader of the Hurricanes is completely the right move, and it's obviously showing up in the locker room and how things are shaking out for the team this year.
Yeah, and the storm surge was his idea.
There you go.
The storm surge was his idea. They were looking for something just a little bit different. Now, it didn't start off with this in mind. They did not go into this intending that, one day Evander Holyfield will show up at PNC Arena and we'll have him knock out Jordan Martinook after a win over the St. Louis Blues. That was never intended. But they just wanted to do something a little bit different after a win. So they didn't win their first game because they lost in overtime to the Islanders, but they win their second home game. And like normally, I mean, the team had come out before and kind of waved to the crowd, and that's cool and all that. And then they went through the storm surge, and the first one was very basic. It was just they skated from one end of the ice to the other and did like Lambo leaps into the glass. It wasn't a big deal. But even through the first 2 months of the season, more often than not, that's basically all they did. But it got a little bit more creative, as time wore on. I don't know how they're going to top Evander Holyfield being a part of it.
I'll tell you how you do it. They recreate the pool scene from Caddyshack.
Who's bringing the baby Ruth?
Somebody's got to bring a Baby Ruth and just fling it on the ice. And see if maybe Bill Murray will come out with a little broom or something and say, it's no big deal.
Skip Cunningham has been with the franchise for since the New England Whalers were born. So Skip Cunningham could be a very good Carl Spackler.
There you go. Done. That's perfect. Well, I think it's going to be awesome, especially in the playoffs. It's going to get a lot of attention because the truth is that the Carolina markets do not get a lot of airtime on television, and it's unfortunate. Obviously, the big networks like to go to the big markets and put up Washington and New York and LA and Chicago and Pittsburgh and I just think it'll be a huge deal for the Hurricanes to make the playoffs and win some games and get through a round or two, if not all the way. It'd be fantastic.
Last year and this year, Carolina has had exactly one game each year on NBC Sportsnet. I get it. NBC wants to put the teams that always draw eyeballs on TV.
Yep.
Whether it's the Rangers or the Penguins or the Capitals or the Sabres or the Flyers or the Red Wings, blah, blah, blah. I get it. I would do the same thing. But if you win, and if you're a playoff team, and you make a deep run in the playoffs, and you get some recognition, you're going to get plenty of opportunities to be on national television. So if this team can get in, they'll be on national TV a couple of times during the playoffs. Maybe they win a round, maybe they win 2 rounds, maybe things go bananas here, and they make it to the Stanley Cup Finals, which would extend my season covering hockey for another couple of months, and that would be awesome. But if they put them on the map, and it was good, it'll be good for business, which is another thing, because we're tired of hearing all the ugly, nasty, unfounded rumors about relocation. It will be great for everybody here, and it will show what we know is a great hockey market when the team is winning. It's kind of fair weather. There's a lot of opportunity to spend your discretional spending elsewhere, but this is a good hockey market when the Hurricanes are good.
Play the first round in the Hartford Whalers uniforms. I think there might be a little bit of an omen.
That would be. Hey, look, they have not lost in regulation in the 2 games. By the way, it was so obvious that they were trolling the people of New England by playing both of those games against the Bruins.
Right.
They beat the Bruins in Raleigh 2 days before Christmas. It was a great game last night in Boston, and Carolina managed to take it to overtime, and they lost there. But at least they got a point out of it. So they're 1-0-1 as the Hartford Whalers.
I still think it's one of the best jerseys and color combinations in all of sports ever.
Look, it's a beautiful jersey. As we're sitting here now, I am wearing a Hartford Whalers toque.
Nice.
So,
Love it.
yeah, it's beautiful.
So Adam, tell us about all your stuff. Where you have your own podcast? What is that podcast so that we can check it out ourselves?
Would love for you to do that. WRALSportsfan.com. That's the TV station that owns my sports radio station. WRALSportsfan.com.
Great.
It's called the Canes Corner Podcast. You can go to WRALSportsfan.com and there's an icon for podcast. I believe along the bar at the top.
Got it.
So the Canes Corner Podcast. I do a radio show and I cover the team. So I'll be in practice tomorrow, watching the guys see if Michael Perlin is back from his injury, to see if anything else is going on. But it's a lot of fun. And then this stretch here, where they have Winnipeg at home, at Nashville, at Colorado, and at Columbus. Well, I think we'll pretty much have a very good idea of what the last 12 games of the season are going to have, based on what we see in these 4 games. If they come out of this in good shape, then it's going to be a blast either way. And I'm excited for the fans here that they get a chance to experience games of consequence while the NCAA basketball tournament is going.
Oh yeah. Well, it's you have a very basketball centric area there in Raleigh Durham. I mean that between NC, you got Chapel Hill, you got Duke, you got Wake Forest. I mean that is a very hardcore college basketball area to say the least. But it's getting them over to hockey is possible, and nothing like a great run in the playoffs to do it.
Look, they haven't been in the playoffs since 2009. It took until 2015 for attendance to really drop off. So there's a strong hockey market. A lot of people don't understand this about Raleigh. But about half the people who live in Raleigh grew up in Chicago, Detroit, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, New York, Boston, Buffalo. I mean, it really is half of like the county that I live in.
Right.
Half of Wake County are transplanted Northerners. We grew up with the game. I grew up going to Islanders games when I was a kid.
Yep.
I was in Coliseum. I saw playoff games there. I knew what I know the sport. I know how great it is.
Do you still root for the Islanders?
No, the only team of my youth that I have left behind is the Islanders, the only one, and that happened because I have I have some personal connections to, like, I am even though I'm an objective reporter, I like people. So the fact I could not have more respect for Brenda Moore or Justin Williams, and I go back to players from past Hurricanes teams. I'm friends with Eric Cole, who's a Stanley Cup champion, and Kevin Adams, who was an alternate captain on the 2006 Stanley Cup champion, and Brett Hennigan, who won that cup and played for it in 2002. So I've got friends who are either coaching. Again, I've known Justin a long time, and I kept in touch when he was in LA and then in Washington. So I have personal connections, but I'm not afraid to admit that I am a Hurricanes fan, and I do the best I can to leave emotions out of it. But I'm very excited for the people involved in this, and I want this for them more than I want it for anybody else.
Well, we really appreciate you taking the time with us tonight on the Dr. Hockey podcast, Adam. It's great to hear about the Hurricanes. We wish the team a lot of luck. We will definitely be watching, and well, who knows? Maybe we'll we'll get you back on as they start to come into the Cup Finals to chat again.
Anytime you guys want to BS and let me rant and bloviate about the Hurricanes.
You got it. All right, man. Appreciate it.